Hey guys, welcome to the Rock and Road Show. Here's some road. There's some rock there. Alright, so still broke down in Texas after a piece of shit pulled some crap on us $61,000 ago. Sold me a truck they had dumped into the ocean, and I spent $61,000 to get it to legally pass a state inspection and to legally get it on the road and legally get it functioning, because they had completely destroyed the frame up underneath, the interior, all the lights were smashed out, the doors and door locks didn't function, the engine went bam 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 bam. Had drove that into the ocean. They blew an exhaust intake manifold and kept driving it in the ocean. It filled it up with rocks and sand. Right. That wasn't enough. Then I met another mechanic that caught it on fucking fire. That is an approved word. Listen to what I said. Yep. Then left me and my dog in the woods, and the dog ended up having a stroke in his son and died. I spent weeks in the woods, hitchhiking up and down hills in the heat at my age. I'm in my 60s, I have cancer and a heart problem, no condition to be in the sun, in the heat, broke down, robbed, ripped off by scumbag pieces of shit Texans, lying pieces of shit, and would go and order parts at night on my cell phone, and then as soon as the battery ran out, I would hitchhike for a jump, get them to take me to my post office. I would pay them cash. Oh my God, and people here were so fucking hateful. It was unbelievable. It was like pulling teeth to get them, even after I hitchhiked at my age and my condition, to get the jump, pay them cash, and get him to take me 1 mile extra to the post office to get my parts so I could put the parts in so I could go the fuck home. And that piece of shit that caught it on fire, his name was Brett Hamilton, called himself Ham Auto Repair. He was referred by the AutoZone and the Advanced Auto. Yep, and the pieces of shit that sold me the truck after they dumped it in the ocean thought it was fucking funny, and took all their buddies and pals on trips and stepped on and walked on the window frames. So all the doors were busted on the inside, window frames were busted, and they had been climbing up and down on the rack up on top, because he actually confessed. Yeah, even though there's a ladder back there, and you can use the ladder. No, couldn't do that. Had to step and walk upon the inside windows. I had to extra repair those by driving screws down in to help keep them on, because they're $1,000 a piece now used. So got through all of that shit. Had to have the engine pulled out, because when ass fluck, that's still an acceptable word, F-L-U-C-K. Hamilton caught it on fire, left us there to die alongside a lake. And the cops did nothing. Yep. It ran oil out and gas through the oil system. Like the heads up on top were filled with gasoline. Right. So instead of it going bam, 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 it went kabam, 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 kabam. Yeah. Thank you, Brett Hamilton. By the way, 6 months later to the day, he was driving his roommate's pickup truck, caught it on fire, probably because he was smoking while he was working on my truck. Yup. Yeah. And dropped a little piece of foil, which I showed you guys on an early video. If you look at my old videos, you will see. And burnt his roommate's red pickup truck completely to the cement, and the fire department had to come out and put out the fire, and they were not able to salvage even a chunk of the truck at all. None of it. Smart ass. after I told other men in Texas what he had done to my truck and the cost and the money and the photos and the stuff, and they still had referred this guy out. He was at a client's house when he did that with his pickup truck, his roommate's pickup truck. Yeah. So I had to take it to some more loser males in Texas, in the Fort Hood area, a shop that's now changed its name from Big Rick's. You just call it Big Rick's. Yeah, that sounds like a real professional name. To Rick's. Oh, let's make it sound more professional. Let's just call it Rick's. Nothing professional. They blew the rear main seal. Put the engine in crooked so you can't check the freaking oil. They had deleted the computer completely because another shop told me that promptly tried to rip me off also as well. Another piece of shit shop. And they somehow didn't manage to connect the exhaust manifold on the driver's side correctly, and they couldn't pull the oil cooler off of it. It's still there. The old rusty oil cooler, the original, is still there. And I have the new one in the back of the truck still. After they knew and needed to go the fuck home. After they knew it was dumped in the ocean. After they got instructions on top of the new engine block crate for $6,000, and it says, take off all the old oil parts, put them in the trash. Do not run them on the block. Did it anyhow. Claimed they couldn't find the directions, but I saw the fucking directions there, and I had a copy of it on my cell phone. And I told them that when they played that game. I said, I told you I had a copy of the directions on my cell phone. I can send it to you anytime on your email if you have one. So it's completely ruined. I had to get another one for another $6,000. I'm not making this shit up. It's supposed to be sitting in another town across Texas, which they can't even pronounce. It's someone's last name, Coperas, a Spanish name. They call Coppers. Oh, Coppers Cove, Copper. It's someone's last name, Coperas. It's Hispanic. It's a Hispanic name, Coperas. Je hablo español at all in the state of Texas. I look more gringo than you, and I can je hablo español. Anyhow, so it's supposed to be sitting over there, but ever since I had it towed over there, they've never spoken to me since. And the truck's too busted to drive it to the next town to get it over there, to go ask them in person, because they won't answer the email on the phones, and they won't call me back, and they won't email me. $6,000 engine block, which I have pictures of, and I've also got the stories of on my YouTube channel right here. By the way, click and subscribe. I don't know what the fuck is up with YouTube. They're not showing likes, they're not showing clicks, they're not showing subscribers at all. I've had this channel for 5 years. I had it before it got to Fluckin, Texas. Fluckin, Fluckin. Alright, so I'm going to get you caught up because we're at that stage again. I had to have some shade. We've discussed this several times. And I had a small tow trailer I had just barely purchased. And we were in the flood by a lake area, not far from Fort Hood, for the 4th of July Texas flooding that killed all kinds of people. And I thought we were going to be safe after we survived through that, and had to drive around and dry out. But no, the flood hit us again a second time, approximately July 13th. Yes. So even after all the work and all the money and all the stuff I had done, and preparing for more because men had fucked it up so fucking badly and then didn't tell me. But they wrote it down. Ricks did tell me on a piece of paper. They said, oh, rear main seal is out. You'll have to get that repaired next. And I said, it's a brand new engine. It was $6,000 and I just paid you $4,000. That's $10,000. Add that to the car rental, $1,500. That's over $11,000 I spent in about a week. Added to my other bills. What do you mean the rear main seal? Yeah, oh, and then they try to get me for a timing belt. I said, excuse me? I said, well, write that down on a piece of paper. I promptly took the paper out of there and gave it to Wells Fargo at the bank. I tried to get a lawyer to sue him. If you're a lawyer, I'm still interested. I have all the documents and film and photographs. And some witnesses. I do. And a YouTube channel. And a Facebook page on the whole entire thing. All of it. Every single bit of things I have just told you. I have a Bible stack file of receipts, credit card bills, witnesses, phone numbers, pictures, film, on everything. So I got the paperwork off of Rick's and I said to Rick's, I said, so when you do a rebuild so someone can go home, you don't give them the engine back with a ruined timing belt so she can go home with cancer. Should have seen the look on his fucking face. F-L-U-C-K-I-N. Legal word. Yeah. I had told them numerous times, I have cancer, I'm broke down here, I need to go home. Then they didn't do a fucking thing. It went in one male ear and out the other. Oh, my birdies are coming to see me. They know I'm upset. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Oh, they love me. They're coming to see me. They know something's wrong. And they're coming to see me. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. They're coming to see me because they know I'm upset and I'm yelling. It's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Oh, man. It's the only thing that gives a shit about me. So, all right, so we get through the floods. I am registered with one of the chief of polices in one of the towns as being a survivor. I am on a survivor list. I am not going to be able to find another small towable trailer. I have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. I do have a little bit of money to do that. I ended up calling 50 flucking churches. Only one church contacted me back, and they wanted a tour. I don't know if you guys can, I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me. But I'm about to tell you about some other brainless twits from Texas. So just hang on to your panties because there's more coming. So, brainless twits from the churches wanted to come out to a federal, a national, a state disaster zone within a few days, because I contacted them like July 5th, I think. I'm trying to remember. I'm tired really bad and I have all this stuff recorded. It's for a tour, and I didn't say to them what I thought, because what I thought in my head was, what the fuck is the matter with you? But instead I asked them, I said, what planet are you from? You're going to come out and tour what? Tour what? The dirt? The mud? The water? That's what you're going to tour? Because that's all there is. Everything washed away down to the ocean. They didn't even bother to get back with me on that tour idea they had of the mud and the dirt. Yeah. And all I asked them was for a mechanic, a reasonable mechanic I can pay, another small trailer I can buy, tiny, and a place to park it. Those 3 items. That's all. That's all I asked for. I got none of that, but some weird sickos, stupid, with no brains in their head, that want to come out and take a tour of the mud. So then I still proceeded to get a mechanic because the water came up and it seeped in. Yeah, I haven't even hosed the truck off since, because I've been too god freaking tired. I've had a lot to take care of: a cancer, a heart problem, a dog, a truck, broke down. I'm tired. It's 200 degrees out here. We don't have air conditioning. We don't have a fan. We're not sitting around watching television and eating bonbons. We're not. I'm tired and I'm working. And I actually have a freaking eBay page. And I'm trying to sell what I can on the eBay page to make the bills. TequilasunTrading, all one word, capital T's. Which requires work. I have to do repair work, like on this one, this old one here. Photograph them, then get them sold. And I do not keep them in the truck. I keep them in a bank vault. But it takes time to have a piece, sit down and do the repair, and then do the photography and get it on the page and get it sold. And I don't sell crack on the side like the rest of Texas. I don't sit around and drunk and just drink and just throw my legs apart and hope I'll find someone to just take care of it for me. And I don't do those things. Jesus Christ. So let's get to the next one. All right. So recently I met to me, a kid. He's almost 50. He dressed like a kid, act like a kid. I guess he's ex-military, and I'm coming to find out, stolen valor. Because he has a Facebook page, and on his Facebook page, he's claiming that he was in Operation Freedom in Iraq in 2017. OIF was over in 2011. Almost a 10-year difference. He's got it all over his Facebook page. He changes his name from Chris to Christopher, or Chris J. Oh, hang on to your panties for this one. This is his last name. Nilges. 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 Who the heck is named Nilges? What the heck kind of name? Never mind, he's in Texas. Yeah, he thinks he's all that in a bag of chips. He works for some maintenance company, drives their van around and uses their stuff to fix other people's cars and makes a huge mess. Because I asked him about my gear shift for my truck because another shop broke it. So I've been driving around with the gear shift that would come off in my hand until I finally screwed it. I got a way to screw it on there enough I could continue to drive it, because the shop that broke it wouldn't take care of that. Yeah. An illegal shop at the Best Buy in Killeen, Texas, in the back. The big fat kid that runs the stereo department illegally runs a choice shop for $150 an hour and breaks multiple things, like my truck door, after I told him, leave the inside door alone. I will do it. And it's the same thing I tell every flucking male. Don't touch the inside of my interior door. I will do it. Busted it in pieces. Right where the $1,200 master switch is, I had to pay. Yeah. Broke the gear shift handle too, and then knocked the pedal off my floor. $150 an hour. So I go to another idiot, Nilges. Chris Nilges and his witch. So I was over there after they told me they had a shade tree for 7 hours a few days ago with my tiny little dog. 7 hours. I had to beg him and almost beat him to give me a small cup of ice. At no time did they ever even offer me and my little tiny dog a cold drink of anything, and lied about the shade. Yes. Then when I got there, and they could clearly see, and they clearly knew, and they knew the job, okay, and felt the job, and could smell the job, and see the job, that the entire carpeting of the entire bottom of my Hummer H2 was soaked, that the seats would have to come out or be moved. Knew this information. Bragged to me that he told his friends he was helping someone from the flood. Yeah, because he bragged to me. He goes, oh, I told my friends about you. I told my friends about you. I said, you told your friends about me? This is some weird guy from off the street, okay? That he looked kind of professional to me with his hair up, but he was just playing games with his hair too. He didn't even have short hair. He's got long hair. So I said, what were you saying about me? He goes, oh, I told him I was going to help a flood victim. I'm like, I'm sorry. In my book, if you're helping a flood victim, you're not treating them like complete shit for 7 hours. With no ice, no cold drinks, not a snack, not a meal, not a hi, how are ya, not a thank you after you got paid. And milked me for hundreds of dollars and broke my gear shift into tiny, itty bitty, teeny weeny little tiny chunks. Yeah, I never saw anything like it in my life. He must be a tweaker. And then used glue. Because I said, I can't get home. How am I going to get home? That's the gear shift to the truck. He goes, oh, well, you just shift it. I said, no, you don't. You have to push a button to the gear shift for vehicles. So he glued it. I had to purchase another one. That was an extra $200. While his witch came outside and looked down at the top of my hairline of my head and asked me why FEMA wasn't cleaning the truck. I said, why does FEMA not do flood in vehicles? I don't know. Because they don't have a shop that does flood vehicles? And FEMA doesn't pay for that. FEMA does not pay for flood inside vehicles. And I was very nice to her, believe it or not, because I was completely drained in sweat from the lack of shade, the lack of coolant. The guy didn't even drag out a box fan and plug it in and drag the fan out so we could have some blowing air from his garage. Nothing. And I said, probably because I'm standing here dripping in sweat after I've already busted my balls for 4 or 5 hours. Yeah. I said, they don't pay for that. In which she began to call me names. And proceeded to call me filthy fucking names the next 7 hours. I humped like a man to take stuff out of the truck and put it back in the truck. And we had to reach up in and rip all the wet padding out, clear up to the back, which is a little higher actually in a Hummer H2, so it didn't go clear up the back of the back. But my back is wet because it came down from when I told you guys in other films it was leaking through, and I was going to try and fix that because the pieces of shit that sold me the truck and other pieces of shit mails from Texas that owned the truck had all the trim missing and or ripped out. These are in my other videos. You can go backwards in time and you can see me talking about it. So the back was still wet also, but I didn't have Flip Boy. Yeah, Flip Boy. I didn't have Flip Boy help me with that. Helped me for hundreds of dollars. I did not. And we pulled by hand all the way up to the passenger seat so I wouldn't have to pull the passenger seat because I was fucking exhausted. And I still don't know if the passenger side floor is still wet or not. I've been too fucking exhausted to continue to pull along by myself and see if it hasn't dried out yet. I don't know, but I can still smell mold. Stolen Valor called me names for 7 hours, broke my stuff, and was supposed to have a finish appointment because I asked him to drill down and put a plug in. Because if the truck ever gets wet again, the manufacturer should have done this like they did the Chevy vans. Put plugs in, so you just pop the plug, drain the water. He didn't even get that done, but broke the gear shift instead. So, the padding is out. Here's a sample piece here. I've had it outside in the blazing sun. This is, I'm going to give you the date on today, if I can see the date real quick. I think today's the 22nd or the 23rd. And the padding that's been outside in the blazing sun just now dried out after all that time. Yeah, but it wasn't drying out in here. And after we even pulled the padding, I still have it propped up inside to get air in as best I can because it's still wet. Hummer's got some badassery underneath here, though. They do have a little bit of a, not much, but a little bit of a coating. It's not much. And they got some thick rubber, good carpet. You know, about kind of sort of average. Maybe a little nicer than average. That's it. And it's still actually not dried out. Kid you not. Well, we're caught up. And I didn't take the films while we were pulling stuff because I was too fucking exhausted with no shade, no ice, no cold drinks of any kind. Zero, period zero, and being called names. And then she told her son something because they felt the need to come out like trailer trash when I was putting tools away and blow cigarette smoke on the top of me like pieces of trash. Trash. And it still broke down, and I still need a goddamn motherfucking mechanic and an attorney. And I've left my email. Click and subscribe. And you can check me out on my eBay page. Spend some money to help me pay the bills. Yeah, I'm not on here mooching and leeching like a lot of other YouTube people do. I'm not grifting. But I don't have a lot on my page right now, which is TequilasunTrading on eBay. Because I haven't had the time to sit down and get more stuff done. I just haven't. I don't have any time. And the next person, we've got to have to tackle rusty stuff that men don't want to touch. I didn't want to do it alone by myself at 64 years old in the heat of the sun of Texas with heart problem and cancer. And I want to find someone to pay reasonable to still help me look at the section that caught on fire and the rusty lights and figure out why the battery's draining all the time. Brand new ones, 24/7. And I have to replace them about every 2 months completely. I've got a $61,000 in debt. Mechanic that takes PayPal. You can email me, rockandroadshow@gmail.com. I don't know why it's not showing up on the YouTube. Most stuff isn't, and I've been here 5 years. That's it, guys. That'll catch you up on what's going on. I gotta go.